Hi everyone, this is Rexanna and today we're here in my kitchen. Again, I'm trying to wrap up with all my canning. In the garden, I did not grow successfully any potatoes, but however I did have an Azure Standard order that came in, and I got me some beautiful red potatoes. And I've been kind of hesitant about canning some potatoes this year, but I did run across a wonderful video. I'm a YouTuber. And I ran across a wonderful video. Actually, it was on YouTube it was on Facebook. It's a video, and it's actually called Rebel Canning. And many of you may or may not be in this group. I've been very hesitant because I am a canner and I do go by the guidelines of the USDA canning, but I really this has been about my second year in the group. I have not done any of the canning from this group, but I've been very interested in doing some canning from this group. And so this is going to be my first video, and I do hope you join me. You may be in the group and you may leave me a comment of some of the stuff that you have canned from this group. They've been doing Rebel canning for many decades and passed it from grandmother to grandmother, from granddaughter to granddaughter. So I do a lot of things that are not really, I make my own medicine. People say, you know, that's not right, you shouldn't do that, and I do it anyway. Because if something works for you and your family and you've been passing it down generation after generation, I really don't see why, you know, if it works for you, if it's not dangerous, and if it's healthy, I just don't see why not. So anyway, sometimes, you know, if it's been in your family for many generations and it's a healthy lifestyle, other people may need to catch on, and so that's why I'm sharing this today. It's called dry canning, okay? And the texture of food sometimes is off-putting to some people. I know I have some children in our family that they don't like the texture of some food, so they won't eat it. So if you just can change the texture, and canning does change the texture of some food. And so if you can change the texture, and if a child will eat it because the texture is different, then that's a game changer for me. So I have I have canned some potatoes before, and they do kind of just taste boiled. So I'm going to dry can some potatoes, and I have been seeing this, and I think I'm going to enjoy this. So we're going to find out today. So come along with me and I will show you. This is going to be my first time, and I'm bringing you along with me. If it's your first time, I do hope you give it a try. Like I said, they've been doing it for generations. So we're going to do this, and I'm going to show you two ways. And in this video, you get to choose which way you want to do it. Today we're going to do it with olive oil, but you can do it with butter. I have taken the liberty to go ahead and to make this a shorter video. You can use Yukon Gold. You could use whatever kind of potatoes that you prefer. I got these red little potatoes. You want to try to get a small potato, because you can use whatever size jar you want to use, you prefer to use in your family. I'm using quart size jars, and I'm using the wide mouth because I think the wide mouth will work better for me and my family, and to get your potatoes out. Now the trick to making these is this bowl, and then I have another pan in the sink, is you want to fill up your bowl after you clean. I just filled up my sink full of warm water, emptied all my potatoes in there, and I got them really nice and clean. Now you can peel your potatoes, but I'm not peeling my potatoes. I'm leaving the peeling on. You can certainly cut and peel your potatoes if you want to, or you can leave the peeling on. I'm leaving the peeling on. That's that's your personal choice. But what they're sitting in after you clean them is you fill your hot water up and you put 2 tablespoons full of citric acid in here. That keeps your potatoes from turning brown. If you don't have any citric acid, you could put like 2 tablespoons of lemon juice or just lemons. But that keeps everything from turning brown. It's the same principle, like you don't want your fruit turning brown. This is the same principle. So what we're gonna do now is I've had this in here for about an hour, probably more like 45 minutes, but I think 45 minutes is gonna be good. So we're just gonna strain off all the potatoes. You're not gonna rinse them, you're just gonna let them drain, okay? And I've already kind of, you know, went through and calculated about how many potatoes are gonna go in a quart. And I've counted, now if you get a potato that's like really big, a little bit bigger than, like if it's really big, you may wanna cut it in fourths instead of just half. And so what you're gonna do is I counted about 16 to 17 of these will go in my quart size. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you want to push them down really hard. 16, 17, you may want to put that one, 17, because when you are going to cook these, they're going to shrink, okay? Okay, so that's 17, okay? You're not going to, oh, hang on a second. I forgot. I'm already forgetting. So you can just test. I forgot. So you can put all these back in here. What you're gonna do after you rinse it is you're gonna lightly coat it with olive oil and some salt. And you don't wanna use a table salt. You wanna use either a Redmond salt, which is a Himalayan salt, or you want to use a sea salt. You want to use something that has really good salt. You don't want to use any iodized salt. You want to use a regular good salt. And you can use 2 tablespoons, a good healthy bowl like this, 2 tablespoons. You could just put a teaspoon in each one of these, but I think you want to coat it really good. And then you want to layer it with some, people use like a little bit of butter. They'll put like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of butter in here. It kind of depends. I'm not going to put butter. I'm just going to coat it in olive oil, okay? Or you could use whatever preferred oil that you like cooking with. Actually, I think I'm going to use avocado oil. That's what I have open. So avocado oil is a higher heat. So that's what I'm going to do real quick, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I've coated these with olive oil and salt. And now we're going to see. And I'm going to use my hands, so I keep my hands really clean. But you can use some sort of spoon or spatula. I may decide to use both, but the reason I'm using my hands is because I may have to get them in and out, because when you're putting them, and everything I'm doing is cold. So I'm keeping everything cold over. You're gonna pressure can these. So I mean, that's why I'm saying I'm having to take these in and out. You wanna fit them in your jar just right. See, I'm having to push it down. I mean, you have to do a big one, then a small one, a big one, then a small one. That's what I'm doing. Kind of layering them in there. That's what I'm saying. You may have to cut one that doesn't want to fit in there just right. Once you get a count of this, I'm thinking the next time I do this, it's not going to be so hard, because I've got one down there that doesn't want to lay down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my knife. I'm going to cut this one that's kind of big. And then, yeah, it's going to go down there on the side. Some of these, I guess I should have cut it a little bit better, because you have to get your lid on there, and you don't want your lid, because you're not having to pour any liquid down, you're not having to debubble it, you know what I'm saying? But the top of your lid, you're going to have to get your vinegar and your towel and wipe off the top of your lid really good. Now that one looks really good, but however, I have a big empty space down there, so I may have to fix that one. But I'm not going to fret. I'm going to put the bigger ones down at the bottom. Small one and a big one, small one and a big one, small one and a big one. I think that's how I like to do it. A small one, get the big one down there at the bottom. Push on it as you go. That one's too big. Yeah. I think that's gonna, and as you press on it, it goes down there to the bottom. Yeah. I'm gonna be careful, not press too hard, because you can kind of, you know, mess your jar up. Get one that's not so big on the top. Okay. I'm gonna get all these done, and then I'll come right back with you. Okay, I've got 8 pints now, and basically, because we use oil, we're not filling our jars up with any liquid. They're gonna make their own liquid. So, if you're gonna use butter or oil, whatever you decide to use, you're still gonna need to wipe off the rims of your jars. And I've got just a little cloth here with water and vinegar on it. So the headspace on here, like if you look at my jar, I'm gonna be able to get my lid on there. That's a good inch. Nothing, you don't want anything up here impeding getting your lid on there. But you do want to make sure, because there's oil, you don't want to mess up your seal in any way. So I'm gonna go over and dip in the vinegar really well, because I'm going all around the rim and where you screw your lid on several times, because it's kind of oily all around there. And the vinegar is going, and I'm even dipping it in my hot water, because I don't want anything to mess up my seal in any shape, form, or fashion. So that's all I'm doing. It depends on how many potatoes you have for how many jars you're gonna get. We're gonna pressure can this for 30 minutes. For quart size, I think in 1.5 pints. If you're doing a 1.5 pints. I don't know what it's gonna be if you're doing pints. I would refer back to my pressure canning. I would assume, no, I'm not gonna assume. I don't know. I mean, if you have a Presto, I have an All-American canner. So, probably, well, this is 35 minutes, I'm sorry. Mine is 35 minutes. So I'm gonna set my pressure canner for 35 minutes for these quarts. And if you have something, maybe around 20 minutes, I don't know, 25 minutes. it's not far off that. So you just need to go look at your book for what your regular canning is going to be. Like I said, you may want to join the Rebel Canning group to find out. And we're going to put our lids on our jars, fingertip, you know, just a regular way, finger tight. We don't want to do anything really, really tight. Like, I mean, this is the only thing, you know, I know people do a lot of other different things, but this, you know, how you add your water and all the other ingredients, this is the only thing. All the other rules apply. Okay, I think this is the last jar. I want to make sure everything on the jars is wiped clean, because you do want a good seal. So I'm going to move that. Okay, so I think you can see, you get your lid on there, and I always like to stick it on there, hold it, and then just make sure. Okay, now all my food here is cold. My canner is cold. That's my All-American canner. And you just stick it down in here. And I have the 921, I think it's called, where I'm going to be able to get all 8 in here. Okay? I'll be right back. Ooh. I guess I press down. So it's going to press back up. Shouldn't press down on the middle, because it'll press back up. Okay, hang on, I'll be right back. I just wanted to come on here because I have been having some trouble with my lids. And so I had bought some lids that were not ball or cur. They didn't have any kind of marking on the top. But if you look, I'm going to do my light like that. Can you see that protruded lid that has like a little, it protrudes out, okay? You want your lid to be protruding out, to have that little button there in the middle, okay? And when you take your lids out of the canner, you want that to go back down, to press down. And that's how you know you have a good seal. We'll talk more about this after I get my jars out. But didn't that look pretty? Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. So can you see, I only have 7 that I'm going to be able to do right now. I'll have to do 1 all by itself, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. But these are going to go, I'm setting my timer for actually about, not on high. I'm going to set it like around 8 to get hot, kind of a medium high. And then once it starts getting hot, I'm gonna just put my lid on. But this, actually I have a little bit too much water, so I may take one of these out and take down my water a little bit. I actually have too much water in there, so I'm gonna take a little bit of my water out. And I think I'm gonna do that right now real quick. So, let me take some of this water out. Let me see where that water will leave me. Still kind of high, but I think that's better. It's just once you have your cans in there. Supposed to be about, yeah, I think that might be better. Yeah, I think that might be better. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. All right. So, all right. So we're gonna leave it here, and then I'm gonna put my lid on. Okay, now I have everything closed down on my American canner, and my pressure, or my altitude is under 1,000, or 1,000 and under. And so once this right here on this side, where it releases the pressure for 10 minutes, it will come up here on this side, between, on the inside here, between 10 and 11. I will then, and you'll have steam coming out here for about 10 minutes. I'll put my weight on, which is around 10. I'll put my weight on here so it'll start jiggling. And then I will set my timer for 35 minutes. These will start cooking for 35 minutes. Then after 35 minutes, I will come in here and just turn my fire off. Right now, at the time that it is, once this starts jiggling, I'll turn it down to about a 5. And then that will hold my pressure steady. And then once the timing goes off, I'll turn all my fires off. Once my fires are off, I won't touch anything. I'll just let it all cool down. Once it all cools down on its own, it will take quite a while. I won't touch my jiggler, I won't touch the lid, I won't touch anything. I'll let everything cool off on its own. Then we'll come back here and I will slowly release everything. I will, after I don't hear anything, after everything is completely quiet, I'll take the jiggler off. The steam, some steam will kind of release here, and we'll see what we get. If you slowly release everything and slowly let everything kind of cool off on its own, you'll get a better product. And when it slowly releases like that, nothing comes out. I've learned the hard way. So anyway, I'll meet you back here. It'll be a little bit, but anyway, okay. Okay, we're back. I've let everything completely cool down, and what I'm about to do is I am about to take all my jars out, and we're gonna put them on a towel here on my counter. Okay. It's already starting to pop. What you want to do is you want to be careful, and you don't want to tip your jar over. And if you'll look, you have some juice there in the bottom. See your juice? They've kind of changed color. They're not so red anymore. They did cook down just a little bit, but they are pretty full. They are already sealing. I'm gonna move this one over here. And that was a success. I mean, they look beautiful. And they're gonna sit here until in the morning. I'm not gonna touch them. I'm not gonna take the ring around. I'm gonna leave the lids, the jars, they're gonna sit here. They're gonna pop, which they're gonna seal. That's telling me that they're sealing. And I'm gonna let this cool down, and I'm gonna go ahead and pressure can the other one. This is the one, if you look at the difference, this is the one that did not. I'm gonna have to do that one all by itself, because I just simply did not have, this is the size that's in between the small one and the big one. But I'm gonna have to do this one by itself. But anyway, I just wanted you to see, this is gonna cool down, and I am really excited because this is my first dry canning session. I do hope you like and subscribe, and I do hope you give this a go. I mean, like I said in the beginning, this is not the approved method, but there's people that do use butter, and there is people that just simply use oil. I think I'm more comfortable doing the oil, and then if I do choose to you know, use them as fried potatoes, I can put butter or a little extra oil. Whatever I decide to, however I decide to use these, you can mash them, you can do whatever you decide to do after you get through with these. But I'm gonna try to do another batch of these before I decide to quit. I'm not sure whether I'm through for the season. I may do some jams before I decide. But anyway, that's all for today. And I hope you do, like I said, like and subscribe. But this is it for today. And I hope you guys enjoy this. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.